Hey there, Shrine Runners. Hello and welcome to the Fox Shrine. I'm Araxis, your host, and tonight we're going to be playing some more of the Great Ace Attorney. Hey there, Nagorius. Hey, Kuro. Welcome. Hope you're all doing okay. I just got myself some lemon squash, and I'm looking forward to digging further into this case. I'm not sure if we'll be able to wrap it up in this session, but I'm getting close. We've at least got the who is probably the culprit in the stand now, so looking forward to that. Also, hey Ada, hope you're doing well as well. Looking... I was gonna say, like, looking forward to having a little bit of a break, but it's sort of like a forced break, because I'll be taking it because of getting vaccinated, which could have side effects. I could be taking the break regardless of whether I have side effects or not, but yeah, whatever. We'll see how things go. Might play some games in my off time if I'm sort of feeling up to it, or I might rewatch Babylon 5, or just watch some more YouTube videos. I don't know. Whatever. I'll find something to do with my sort of like weekend off. All right. So let's get into the game then, shall we? All right. As always, do let me know if there are any issues, and we'll see how things go. All right. Yeah. So trial part 3. Oh yeah, we are definitely not close to the end. It's got to be like up to part 5 or something, right? I feel like this is going to be a long one. Right, let me have a drink. The articles that Mr. McGilded had deposited in Windybank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago. Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in that trial as well. That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilded. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now, here we are, all again. The same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend. I don't believe in coincidences. Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilded. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. That the murder, in fact, took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilded died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances. A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. 2 months! as indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be that as it may, I recall neither the disc nor this small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings. Miss Lestrade. Would you tell the court now, please? What really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I already said all of what I know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade, this is extremely important. Remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. I mean, are you trying to discourage her from testifying now? I mean, to be fair, you should let her know what this means. That's not going to make it any easier for her. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts. You have little credibility to lose. Ginny, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Bruno now. Iris? We're on your side. Alright then. I'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina. Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it. Do it! I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilden's pawned articles and that extraordinary case of the omnibus harbor secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, a commodity sorely lacking in your original statements. This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Van Zeke said, this could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears. But, as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. The truth, the whole truth, the nothing but the truth, the real truth of the omnibus case. Well, truth is, that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. But when the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over my head, and that pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops. Well, that's when McGilden slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I'd seen or heard. Oh, good grief! This is outrageous! What you've just told the court has almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago. As you say, my lord. Then there's every chance I may have adjudicated an error in McGilden's trial. It sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court, and under oath, too. How dastardly! In an effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes. Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in that trial, of this witness, and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable. If you'll recall, I came down on your side in that. Every single time, whenever there was a dialogue that was like, hey, does this seem sus to you? I was like, yes, this seems sus. So, don't luck me in with McGilded, alright? I even turned down payment at the end. I don't believe it. The whole trial was a farce. It was all lies. Oh, that McGilded fellow was rotten to the core, just like that pickpocket. Oh, don't forget that lawyer from the East. They were all in it together. Oh, you're wrong about a lot of ya. Mr. Naruodo, the lawyer there, he didn't know nothing about it. Humbug! I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that? Oh, he really stitched everyone up, didn't he? Oh, what an operation to get the man off scot-free. Unforgivable. Stop. The lies have to stop. Stop. Please, don't ever. Stop. Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony. Because the true significance of McGilded's pawned articles must be brought to light. Very well, my learned student friend. Given the depth of calamity you have just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing. Words fail me. This situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial, whether you should be relegated to the naughty list. Of course, my lord. Oh, blimey, Mr. Naruhodo. Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. All right, the real truth of the omnibus case. Now, let's gonna be pressing on everything here, obviously. Okay, so cabin of the omnibus the whole time. Yep.
Hold it!
And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats? Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all. Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain that you claimed Mr. McGilded was the sole passenger, did you not? False testimony, my lord. That's what he told me to say. Told me I had to say. But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilded and the victim acquaintances? I don't know. I did hear him talking a lot. What were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear too well, but if I had to say, I think it was about money or something. I kept talking about buying and not buying. Perhaps business dealings of some kind. Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I hardly dared breathe. And then, all of a sudden, I heard a noise. Like someone keeling over on the floor. It was blooming loud and all. And I believe you let out an involuntary scream. Yeah, that's what gave me away. Okay, dragged her out, saw the disc on the floor. Was the disc you saw this disc? Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the cove lying on the floor. Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps? I don't know, but McGild had picked up pretty smartish. And then he sat the cove with the knife in his belly up on the seat. What did he say to you at that time? He told me not to say a word about what I'd seen or heard to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. Way he was looking at me, I thought if I didn't go along with it, I'd get stuck with that knife too. And he started asking me a load of questions. Like what my name was and where I lived and all that. He asked me about being a diver too. But after a while, what had happened in the carriage was noticed. Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise. Okay, heard a scream. And then the pair went off to call the slops. There were two gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe. That's right. I must have looked down through the skylight and noticed the cove with the knife in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up the horses and McGild had got me out of sight. Out of sight? Where? Back under the seat where I started off. Once the carriage came to an halt, the two coves from the roof ran off to fetch the slops. If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear they were entirely unrelated to the incident. So that left McGilded, the driver, and you still at the scene. Yeah, only driver didn't know I was there, because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from outside. The driver, yes. He also testified in that trial, I believe. That means that the driver also gave false testimony, because he never mentioned being hired by McGilded to take that disc to the pawn shop. The jacket, rather, with the disc. A fellow who went by the name of Beppo, if memory serves. Oh. What did McGilded and the driver say to each other? I know what happened and stuff like that mainly. Okay, slip the driver some tin, run to the pawn shop. That pawn shop, obviously being Windy Banks on Baker Street. Just a moment, Counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in that trial as well? Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbrokery slipped his mind when he was in the stand. Indeed, Lord Van Zeeks. McGilded took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up, all careful-like, before he handed it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it ought to be worth a few bob. Yes. Gina was sure the disc must be worth more than Mr. Windybank was suggesting, wasn't she? Remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbrokery? Oh, the driver looked pretty happy when McGild flashed some brass in his face. Oh, he went running off at a lick. And the bog trotter called to me and told me to come out from the drag's cabin. Okay. Threatened not to snitch, not to say nothing.
Hold it!
Threatened you how exactly? Told me I'd only be able to scarp her if I did exactly what he said. Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago? Yeah, that's it. And there was one other thing that he said. Which was... He told me I'd have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it. The ticket? Well, I'd never. Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in lug, to stop it being forfeited. Left me with some brass to pay for it. But really, why on earth would Mr. McGilded have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat with a pawnbroker before the arrival of the police? It makes no sense at all. I mean, obviously it's a coat that you don't want to be caught with. And it was covered in blood, remember? There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGilded had the driver deposit at Windybanks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs. Anyway, after that, he let me go. I legged it before the coppers showed up. Well done, Gina. Can't have been easy to tell the truth like that. Ah, Giddy's really put her faith in you, Bruno. Yes. And to thank her, I'll have to face a charge of perjury once this trial's over. So, I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible. It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement. I suppose I should. Oh, and another thing. What's that? Take a look at those two. Isn't it strange that they've been whispering to each other the entire time? Yes, that is strange. Looks like they're having a secret discussion about something. Not sure I'm completely comfortable with that. Wonder if there's anything I can do about it.
Hold it!
What's going on there? Am I able to just pursue them randomly? Or... So I've pressed everything. You haven't sort of had anything sort of pop up. Okay, so we pressed on everything. We're not really looking for contradictions here to sort of like present evidence, are we? Don't have the coat. We've got the pawnbroker ticket, however. This is the one that's got price-fired masons on it. hold on a second. Let me look at that one again. So that's for the overcoat. Let's press everything again. Because I think I recall one time something sort of popped up when we sort of pressed things a second time. Continue along. The screen. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yep, slip the driver some pin. Okay. And we've got the last one again. And we're not getting prompted here, but we certainly got the ticket, right? What if we do this?
Excuse me.
Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Grebson and Graydon? Inspector? Mr. Graydon? What? Why me? You try and give me a heart attack? You have been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about? Would you like to share that with the rest of the class? Discussion? With this fella? Oh, pull the other one, Sunshine. I think I've got anything to say with a shady jet like this. And I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. They've clearly been talking the entire time I've been cross-examining Gina. It's as if they've been negotiating. Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, Counsel. I have heard enough. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus. It would appear on that night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus, similar to that negotiation taking place on the stand. A negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, McGilded took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way, but I don't understand why as yet. And two days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGilded's coat and its contents are due to be forfeited. Oh, I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, Cove died right after his trial. I knew that. So, you decided you would try to claim the articles as your own. Well, why not, eh? Oh, they were only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have got them? Anyway, can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking ain't no crime. Ain't no thought crimes here. This ain't Minority Report. I don't see no Tom Cruise here. Miss Lestrade, it would appear Mr. McGilded was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be? Eh? Oh, I ain't got a clue. I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He was probably going to sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking ain't no crime. Remember, no Minority Report, no Tom Cruise. My lord. All the evidence your lordship requested has been located and is ready for the court's inspection, sir. The box! The box! The mysterious little box deposited by McGilded 2 months ago. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. A Rubik's Cube, one might say. To be continued. Okay, so last time you're only about half an hour from the to be continued point. I think it was still a good place to sort of stop there, because it let us sort of recap on what was sort of going on there. So that we're fresh for the next scene. Well, it's going to be sad when you start having to overwrite save files. That's a nice looking box. Oh, so this is the article in question, is it? This small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilded 2 months ago. And on the night of Mr. Windybank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop. Quick, quick! Let's open it and see what's inside! The box! Must open the box! The mystery box! Ooh. Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems. Wow. Though in truth, I had an inkling that might be the case. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement. It's the decoder! For the code disc! We'll be able to find out the military codes of Great Britain. That's probably what's on this, right? Then, is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord. So, we have the means to play back Mr. McGilded's disc, deposited at Windybanks at much the same time. I didn't think that would be big enough to be a music box. Alright. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilded's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus. But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that Brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGilded? I mean, people have killed for less. I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord. I feel like it's just going to raise more questions at this point. Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last. Oh? Wait, my lord. Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? Oh, the music box and the disc are, well, they're, unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music. Objection. You shut up, Gregson. This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. The prosecution has no objection. No! That piece of evidence is police property. Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. This piece of evidence is police property now. You can't. But it is policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. Or is it that you cannot handle the truth? Ah! How dare you use Tom Cruise references against me? No further delays, please. Play the disc. Why would you leave that note on there? Oh. That's fucking Morse code. It's lucky we've got 2 people in the courtroom who understand Morse code. The juror and the probable murderer. What if anyone... Does anyone here know Morse code? Any of you able to understand what that's saying? Alright. Yep. What on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music. No. It's just the same note, playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. Mr. Graydon? This really is priceless. Yeah, he's got his code or whatever it is, I guess. Maybe that's why the inspector didn't want to play it. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? No, it's I'm pretty sure you're trying to lie about it being Morse code. Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom. Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues. Are you ready to move on, counsel? Come on. Yes. Alright, it does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? It absolutely is. I believe that it could be relevant, my lord. Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel. Mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever. Oh. It does sound strange, I agree, but there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face, as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. If That's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend. Answer me this. Oh? Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case? Morse code. Morse code. It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music. Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Oh, Graydon's not happy about that. Look at that. A smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. On the right lines here, I must be. Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Hurley, Bruno.
Objection!
The sounds they're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not, I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Psst, Bruno, it's Morse code. Surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. They've got me. I don't know what the answer is yet. Bruno, I've just examined the music box very thoroughly, and I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all. Really? Really? The way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway. Sounds good to me, Maddie. Carve up some rump for me. And they're gonna taste like egg? Rich eggs. Bold. I'm guessing bold rich people then is on the menu? Okay. How are you going, Maddie? Eggs Benedict. Fuck, I forgot. Good one. Good one. All right. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you. Thank you, Iris. Alright. Well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Ah! Could it be? Is that what these sounds are? Something's just struck me, Bruno. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes. Sorry to hear that, Drago. Hopefully it'll arrive tomorrow. Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. Puzzles in this trial are super fun, and this is no exception, I'm certain. Happy to eat Mrs. Chen. You cannot eat Mrs. Chen. Is Mrs. Chen a brand? What? Mrs. Chen is apparently a Marvel character as well. Or Mrs. Chen. That's Mr. Chen's dumplings. Oh, the Venom trailer. Gotcha. Oh, well, at least I was on the right track then. I don't normally watch movie trailers, and I'm not really into Marvel stuff either. I kind of tapped out. It just got too bloated. Too much. It's too much for me. What is a superhero? Someone very fashionable. I think Supre is a fashion brand. Maybe. Might be a car. All I know is law. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, Counsel? All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to one single answer now. Oh, it's both! Awesome! The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. If I'm right, I'm going to join all the dots together. And hopefully the dashes too. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds on this music box disc is... how am I going to present this, actually? That... Present the stereoscope to sort of make the telegram lady angry. What does the game specifically want from me? Possibly the newspaper? Classified secrets leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. Could be that. That's my best choice. Today's paper, Counsel. The headline is, Pawnbroker perishes in pick-purse plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause. No, my lord, I was hoping you'd just look a little further down the page. Further down? Ministry Mole? Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes. This is a very serious matter being investigated at the, highest level, I understand. I have heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams? Holmes did it, 100%. I see no Holmes here in court. I don't think Holmes did it. Who is this Holmes you're talking about? Of course. Juror number 5. Your input, please. Stop. Oh, me, sir. Whatever is the matter? Holmes blackmails everyone he is constantly snatching info. Again, I don't know who this Holmes fellow is. Unless you mean Sholmes, who is a completely different and legally distinct person from Holmes. You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports? Oh, yes. We're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound? Hmm? You don't mean to say, is it? That's right, madame. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code. But I don't believe it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code? Order! Order! Please, everyone, order! But this is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment. Too much new vocabulary. What is this treason? And what is capital punishment? The sorts of words I'd half expect you to know. Do not worry, comrade. I do not commit treason, except against bourgeoisie. The Skulkin brothers have been dismissed. I love this Ding Dong being on the jury. I do as well. I do. They're all Ding Dongs, really. Most of them. Like, you get Knifey McKnife, you get Senile Guy, you get Racist Southern Belle, you get Russian Tourist, who is clearly a Bolshevik revolutionary. Because these juries are not randomly selected. I believe that they are deliberately crafting these juries for these cases in order to crack down on the treason that's going on. For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile governments would surely pay almost any price. Yes, and on that night, 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, McGill perished, and the all-important disc they unclaimed in the pawnbrokery. My word! In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilded would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous! Absolutely preposterous! So, In response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. I mean, I feel like we need to sort of set up a whole new trial for this. Like, we don't just continue it as part of this one. Delighted, I'm sure. The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Windybank. That being a most flagitious offence for which the law of the land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. Oh. So then, let us proceed. You may... Oh, you go have... Let us have a rabbit and pork here, Governor. Oh, we got things to say. Oh, these guys are back. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm happy that these guys are back. The gang's back. Nash, Ringo, and Sulky, they're all back. I beg your pardon? Who do you think you are? Oh, name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is a professional baddie. Oh, name's Ringo Skulkin. Oh, we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulkin Brothers. Come on, Sulky. Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. Sure, we would shoot someone, but we wouldn't go committing high treason now, would we? Oh, that's right. We got standards, you know. Just hanging out now, yep. Alright, Mr. Graydon. What do you got to say? A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. They've adopted Gregson as their third brother. They claim that he looks like their missing third brother. So they've adopted him. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, was it not? I've no relation with the man. Well, look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night like what he told us to do. Oh, if we'd known that there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it. I mean, the coppers are all pretty corrupt anyway, right? So if you're gonna do things right, get someone on the inside. The coppers are just criminals with a badge. Similar to how businessmen are criminals with briefcases. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. One Mr. will do, Governor. Oh, what's up? Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? that on the night in question you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally, and moreover, you did so as a party of 3 in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here? We did, Gov! We did! Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these 2 ruffians are referring to. That's right. Deny everything. Alright. Mr. Graydon, could you tell us your name and occupation for the court, please? No! I deny everything. You little rotter, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business? Or you never said nothing about no government secrets. Was supposed to be a straight-up job. And what about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? A poor old bloke didn't have to die, did he? Nice to know who your friends are. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant to the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it into the court record as evidence. Okay, this strange music box only appears to be able to play a single tone, deposited at Windybanks 2 days before the Black Overcoat. Okay. Let's have a closer look at that music box, shall we? This is the mechanism that turns the bumps on the disc into sound, isn't it? Yes, the movement. It's all thanks to the comb with its teeth that are plucked by the passing bumps. Exactly. Always got to have a look at all the new evidence. Usually, the teeth on the comb are different lengths, so that each one produces a different tone. But this comb is very strange. All the teeth are exactly the same length. Well, what does that mean? It means that no matter which tooth is plucked by the passing bumps, the music box will make the same sound. I've never seen a music box like it before. Yes, it is strange. A music box that can only play a single note. Has to be some significance to that, surely. See how the former gilded disc sits in the music box the man deposited at Windybanks? It couldn't be a more perfect fit. So there's no question then. The disc was designed to be played in this music box. Yet despite that, the sounds it produces are neither musical, nor do they appear to have any meaning. It just doesn't make any sense. I wonder if perhaps there's more to this music box than meets the eye. Maybe we haven't discovered all its secrets yet. What's this? Switch there. Okay, that's nothing. Aha. What's this? Oh! What is it, Bruno? I've just noticed something about this music box. Looks like the bottom of it opens up as well. Ah, you're right! Well, come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it. Alright then, here goes. Look at that! There's another movement on the underside. So, does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side? And they mentioned 2 discs. They mentioned 2 discs all the way back. So you put 2 discs in for it to play the code at the same time. Yes, I think so. It looks like the 2 movements are linked together. They're linked. So if you had two discs, they would both play back at the same time. Mm-hmm. Big discoveries. Who'd have thought there would be a second movement on the underside of the box? This movement is like the other one. The comb's teeth are all the same length. So this movement also only produces a single tone like the other one? Yes, it must do. Except that the length of the teeth on the two combs isn't the same. Yeah, so it's sort of overlaid. So the single tone produced by this movement will be different to the single tone we've already heard. What? Basically, each movement can only produce a single tone, but the notes they produce are different. Music Boxer can only play two tones. Okay. This is certainly amusing. Okay. What if we, are we able to play this on the other one? That doesn't seem like it, I guess. Okay. Yeah. Dot and dash. We've, like they're claiming it's not Morse code now, but yeah. Okay. Couldn't possibly steal confidential government information.
Hold it!
Guess the little knob I saw was nothing. Yeah, we highlighted that sort of like red gem sort of thing. It didn't seem to be anything. So, is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted? How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information. Well, you know what? Considering all of the things that you've said that you don't know, I think I'll be able to fill the rubbish tip. Oh no, stop! Oh no, stop! Must say something. Stop! Let me guess. Juror number 5? We regular communication of station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. Like that have like, I'm sure that sort of like have like top secret sort of information sort of go past them, like all the time and be sort of like sworn to secrecy, like have to undergo sort of security checks and all that. Communication officers, like, are privy to a lot, I imagine, and would know how to obtain a lot. Not under the bottom cover? What are you looking at here? This one here? Like the... looks like a latch, I guess. I'm not sure why there's no latch on this one. Okay. My hero is being misleading. Stop. Reconsidering aspirations. Stop. A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the Ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader. That's fascinating. Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. So, you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon. Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent enciphered. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them. Oh no! Stop! Must say something! Stop! Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. So how many times are we just going to accept this guy lying under oath? Seriously. And he's received the top prize at the Cipher Cracking Convention 5 years in a row now. Ah, the CCC. I'm very familiar with them. That's fascinating. Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. I don't think she's deliberately turning him in. I think she's just like, oh no, he's being too humble. I need to upsell my idol. Well, your idol would appreciate it if you'd keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. So good at cracking ciphers. What a trustworthy skill on this situation. Well, we've got an idea of why. They're not. To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent on listening to that music box for even a few seconds. Of course, of course. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch. He looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir. A lesson here in court? Morse code is a continuous series of two distinct notes. Tones, you say? Tones. Notes. Yeah, that's why there's the second thing. Yes. A short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters. I see. For example, this is A. And this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you? But it sounds so similar. The rhythm of it is the same in everything. But there is no discernible meaning to this apparent random sequence of sounds. So, your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. No! Really? You shouldn't be so surprised. And yeah. Like I was sort of like thinking that myself. You can totally produce Morse code with one tone. Just has to be long enough. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in the future. You have to think about these things to solve the puzzles properly. I mean, technically, the rest of you don't have to. This is all on me. Yeah, the dashes would be on the second disc. In this instance, anyway. it could be they could people who sort of know what Morse code is would be able to sort of say like hey like this isn't sort of like lining up with anything. So in this like just because you can do Morse code with one tone doesn't mean that in this instance that is what is happening. Stop. Nothing to say, but stop. That is true. The different length of pauses would allow you to distinguish between what is the start of a new letter and which one is in fact a dash or a dot. Make things tricky, certainly, but... Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it? Iris? I mean, if the government's secrets were somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely. Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play back Morse code? We'll go with impossible for now. We do know that it would work, but we want to press everything else first. Seems impossible. Defense will concede that the music box is irrelevant for the time being. For the time being. Such optimism. Too debonair to admit defeat, are we? Those gesticulations are really starting to grate. It can't be Morse code unless... Oh, unless is has two distinct tones. There's a mistake. It should be it. But given the amount of text, like I can understand, like an error or two sort of slipping through. If people want to submit a bug report so that they can sort of fix that up, feel like you should give it a try, but we'll see. No. I absolutely believe that we should give it a try, Drago. The way I play these games is that, you know how an RPG, like if you've got two branches, like in like directions in a dungeon, for example, you never want to go the right way first. You want to go the wrong way first so that you can explore the rest of the dungeon. That's basically what I'm doing here. I'm pressing on absolutely everything before instantly sort of solving the case or whatever, because I want to see all the different dialogue. It's like an adventure game where you sort of click on all the things. Perhaps I should examine that music box in a little more detail. Low-class brickmaker, no relation to the man. Been multiple times where you got stuck on a section just because I examined some evidence, reloaded a save from before you did the examination. Updated information is not presentable. Pretty sure this was a case of that. Oh, hold on, I'm just gonna go grab myself a drink, okay? I've kind of run out. Okay, give me a second. Alright, I have returned. I decided to go finish off the very dark mead that I've got, so I've got that with me. Alright. And the next mead that I'll be trying out is called Casual Profanity, Seventh Amendment. It's like a limited edition one that the meadery sort of like is selling. It's meant to be a semi-sweet one, so I'm looking. It's a clearer one, and generally I like the clear ones over the dark ones. So I'm looking forward to giving that one a go later on. Probably not tonight though. Not tonight. Okay. So 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGilded killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Yep, alright, let's hydrate with mead, shall we? There we go. Okay. I think that calls for this this emote as well. Alright. Okay. Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him. That doesn't make much sense though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? I mean, that'd be being used as a patsy, right? As a cat's paw, like someone like on behalf of the real mastermind, to sort of like put distance between themselves and the actual act. How indeed? There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason in order to take it to the meeting with McGilded and negotiate a deal. Dear me. Made bricks to throw through the windows of government buildings! Aha! A revolutionary! He is a comrade! You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that. An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter, and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together. If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony. Okay. Hold it! Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean? That's it, yeah. Or who else, eh? Oh, silly me thought he was just popping over for a natter after all them years, but Rodder's had a dodgy job for us. Eh, Ash? Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? Where they are sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure. Let's say Graydon's an old China. Okay, so we'll have to follow up on this in a bit. Enough! Why don't you baddies desist with the fiction? Obviously, I don't know these men from Adam. Now, for the last time, stop trying to implicate me in your sordid thievery. Well, that's bloomin' nice, innit? Little turncoat. Fine, that's how you want it. Two can play at that game. We ain't never heard of this geezer before either. Don't know him from Adam. Never spoke to him before in my life. Never even seen him. Never, Nash. Never. What grief. Such a blatant lie will never stand in my courtroom. Well, well. All I'll say is this. The subtle motif between Graydon and McGilded. If we'd known there was dodgy government secrets involved, wouldn't have touched it.
Hold it!
So, did you know nothing about this music box? Uh-huh. Nice. I think I might have mentioned that, actually, when we saw the cane for the first time. We didn't sort of connect it with McGilded, admittedly, then, but we definitely talked about gold. But as I've sort of been saying, like, the writers and translators of this game are geniuses. So did you know nothing about this music box? Oh, we didn't know nothing. Still don't know nothing. We ain't planning on knowing nothing about it neither. But 2 nights ago, AG is silver though. Well, I believe I made that mistake as well. I was like, is AG gold or silver? What was that? It was similar, right? So yeah. That's just in character for me. Whatever, they're precious metals and valued way more highly as jewelry than they should be. Although silver's basically worth hardly anything. Gold's way overpriced, though. 2 nights ago, you did indeed break into Windybank's pawnbrokery, didn't you? AU is gold. Gotcha. In your original testimony, you said that the door of the shop was ajar and that it was like some kind of sign begging you to go in. I don't like the look of gold either, I will admit. Especially, like, really pure gold. Like, that is just crazy amounts of yellow. I don't like it. Yeah. Gold, during the pandemic, skyrocketed in price, by the way. Like, to ridiculous levels. Yeah. Also the chemical names, like, if they're not related to the standard name, often have a Latin name somewhere. Or an alternative name that was used previously, like, in regards to, like, alchemy and all that. Okay. But the truth is, you were planning to break into Windybanks all along, weren't you? Oh, we were, Gov, we were. You're right there. Cause that's what he told us to do. What was his plan? And why was it Mr. Graydon's plan to break into Windybanks that night? Did you not ask the reason? Argenti. Even Argenti sounds better than Aurum. Oh, Aurum's alright. Oh, Scribbler! Thank you very much for the raid. How was your stream? We're just playing some Great Ace Attorney. Thank you very much for the shout out there, Ada. Thanks for getting on that. Playing some Hades, nice. Hades is a great game. I do enjoy that one a lot. How many hours in Hades have I got? All of it on stream. I got about 60 hours on Hades. Hades is very well done. I like that game a lot. Did you have a good stream? The Brimstone enemies. Which ones were they again? I don't quite recall which ones those were. But to the laser crystals. Right. They can be a bit annoying. I I hate the rats more. The rats in at the River Styx. Those are the enemies that I hate for sort of like regular sort of mooks. Their poison is annoying as hell. Yeah, the rats. The rats are atrocious. They're horrible. But yeah, to introduce myself to those who might not know me, I am Araxis Denacia, your revolutionary bartender, and I like to play sort of story-based games, roguelikes, sci-fi fantasy. I consider myself a variety streamer. I've got a set schedule. And welcome. I hope you have a good time here while we do the fifth case of the first game of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And so far, it's absolutely everything about this has been awesome. Only got into Asphodel 4 times, so fairly new still. Okay. I don't like the shieldy boys in the third region. They're annoying. But yeah, hopefully you have a good time with Hades. I enjoyed my time with it a lot, and I wish you all the best with your escape from Hades. Yeah, and the music's pretty good there. Pretty good in general for Hades. It's got some real good tracks. Also, Dusa is so cute. She is adorable. Did you not ask the reason? Well, she is so sweet. What's my favorite weapon? I think I liked the bow a lot. That one sort of like had a lot of sort of fun stuff with it. And I like the spear too. The spear's pretty good. Oh yeah, that place was full of stuff worth nicking. That's what he told us beforehand, anyway. Well, turned out it was a load of cobblers, didn't it? I weren't best pleased, I can tell ya. The fists are good weapons as well. I do like them a lot. In any case, if they know the real reason, it doesn't sound like they're going to give it away. All of a sudden, we seem to be up to our necks in a serious matter of national security. Although, all this talk about interception of secret government messages is still just conjecture at this stage. It would explain a number of things though, wouldn't it? Yep, no problem. Hope you sleep well, Scribbler. I've got some plans in the morning as well, actually. I've got to go and get my second vaccination done. Which is why there won't be any streams for the next few days. So all the best to you, alright? Certain aspect of them. Are we talking about those bonus aspects? I won't sort of spoil things for Scribbler. We'll leave Scribbler to discover the rest of the game. Like, we'll try not to sort of spoil things. Because it's fun discovering new stuff in Hades. Eye drops. I haven't had to use eye drops in a while, thankfully. I don't like having to put stuff in my eye. That's why I don't wear contact lenses. Coronact. Thank you very much for the lurk. And I hope you sleep well, okay, Scribbler? Let me have a quick drink. The negotiation Guinea overheard on the omnibus 2 months ago, and the break-in at Windybanks. But the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon in the omnibus with Mr. McGilded. No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker who was so horribly murdered. If only there was some link between the two men somehow. I know, but Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to us making headway with the cross-examination here could be those two brothers. Yeah, so first things first, we'll go over here, I think.
Hold it!
There we go. And what have you got to say about this, Nash? Ringo, sorry.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. Skulkin? Yeah? No, the other Mr. Skulkin. What? Who? Me? When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react. Oh? I was, just remembering the old days, that's all. Yeah, I've got, I've got shitty Japanese in my stream title as well. Chotto a moment. I couldn't resist. I did that even before sort of like knowing that the Japanese, like the original sort of like Japanese words for the objections and all that. I just did it because I thought it sounded amusing. I was just remembering the old days, that's all. Ah, we used to have a right old laugh together way back when. Together with Mr. Graydon, you mean? Yeah, with Ash, I mean. You look at him now and is a fancy whistle and flute, but wouldn't Adam and Eve it. When he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us. Is that so? He was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone through our heads. Oh, blimey, ain't that the truth? Oh, remember, Milverton and Skulkin's milk run? Oh, that was a corker, eh? Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. So if these two are Mario and Luigi, then who is Rich Ding Dong? Was he Waluigi? No, he was Princess Peach, obviously. And neither does your flute. Oi! Oh, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was answering. Oh, yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong. Nonetheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please? I don't know. Could that sentimental story be relevant somehow? Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Add it to the testimony. My lord. Yes, counsel? The brother's last sentimental statement could hold vital information relating to this case. Way too insidious and conniving for Princess Breaches. I suppose that would have to make him Waluigi then, right? Actually, no, he has to be Waluigi! Like, what? Look at how sort of like fancy Waluigi is. Like all those sort of like different poses he's got, like the Waluigi with the rose in his mouth and all that. Totally Waluigi. You got it, Maddie. I take back my statement that he is in fact Princess Peach. He is Waluigi, dressed up as Princess Peach. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with that detail. Briefly, I hasten to add. Mario, Luigi, Waluigi. Say no more. Skulkins never skulkin. Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run. Oh, them were the days. What's his what's Dingo's full name again?
Hold it!
I'm sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business? Yeah, Ashley Graydon. Milverton was like thrice fired Grayson. Thrice fired Mason, right? I'm pretty sure that he was Milverton, right? Just a little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. Oh, a bit of fun, really. Delivering fresh milk to the locals. That's what it was all about. That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate. But on what? We'll go with the business model first, and then the name. Only we had some evidence with that dang word on it. I know, right? So, how did your little business work exactly? Well, every morning down our way, the milkman would come with his cart to deliver milk, see? They are so precious, Lab Rat. How are you going, by the way? Oh, if you stuck your empties outside your front door, you would leave them there full again, right? So, we swooped in on the action, got people to sign up with us. We promised to deliver milk for half the price of the other geezers doing it. Oh, people couldn't wait to sign on dotted line. Oh, we were raking it in, we were. So, did you live on a dairy farm or something? Oh, Gordon Bennett, are you off your rocker? Oh, we had nothing. Oh, we were too poor to have a farm. We lived in a cardboard box in the middle of the street. We 10 brothers and sisters. Right. Now, what we had going on was simple once you had the idea. We'd just switch them over, see? Our customers' empties with the full ones from anyone who wasn't on our books. A doddle, right? I think you mean to say a diddle. And that's a crime. Oh, it was just an harmless bit of fun, that's all. Milking the general public in such a fashion is most certainly not harmless, as you put it. Well, it was him what came up with the idea. Ash's evil genius. You mean Mr. Graydon? Yeah. Ash always had his head on the book when he was growing up. Definitely takes arms to milk anything. Well, as they say, you can milk anything with nipples. Said he was going to get himself an education and get out of the slum that we lived in. Cool. Oh, we were all ragged him about that, didn't we? Told him he was soft in the head to even think of it. Oh, but look at him now. Oh, he's only gone and become a blinking communication officer, ain't he? Yeah. Them skulkers are criminals, but at least they go and do an honest crime. Not like high treason and whatnot. We only do a little bit of thievery. It's all a bit of harmless fun. A communications officer, Mr. Skulkin. Sholmes and Wilson's milk run. No, Iris! Don't even think about it. Bad. No. Don't do it. Don't do it, Iris. All of a sudden, he seemed to be up. Yeah. Okay. What a lovely story that got us absolutely nowhere. I don't care, I like lovely stories.
Hold it!
Okay, the business name. So this business was just a bit of fun, you say? And it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved? Yeah, that's it. Milverton and Skulkin's milk run, was it? Yeah, that's it. And where did the Milverton part come from? Oh, right. I thought a clever clogs like you would have worked it out. Enough of this. I thought a clever clogs like you'd have worked that one out. That's his. That's his real name. How much longer are we expected to listen? Let me. How much longer are we expected to listen to this drivel? I don't. Let me guess. You don't accept anything that these two witnesses are saying? Tell me, why is it that it was only at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? 'Cause well... Weren't the happiest of homes that one came from? Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much his wife walked out on him. Graydon would have gotten away with all of it, weren't for those damn skulkers. And the fangirl in the jury. And a boot to the head. Oh, she took the name Graydon then, see? But Ash will always be Milverton to us. Milverton. That used to be your surname, did it? Of course not. This is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves? You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon. Well, it would appear that Mr. and Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable, for once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct? Very well. Yes. So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information could change things, and could turn out to be extremely important. His last name was once Milverton, years ago, childhood friend of the Skulkin brothers. There we go. Okay, let's have another drink. You've got no relation to the man? Are we, can't sort of do that there. However, we can do this one now. Oh, hold on.
Hold it!
Okay, I'll go through with this. Okay. Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play back Morse code? Give it a try. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least.
Objection!
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, 2 tones are required. Two tones! Ah, ah, ah! Dots and dashes! Oh my! Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You had better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code? Can definitely take this character seriously. Okay. Yep, so we've got that established now, and I guess we'll present. Good gracious! What am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box? Oh. What? It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put 2 discs in this music box, and the sounds of both will play back at the same time. Good heavens! As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of 2 tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry? This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Isn't that what I'm doing right now? Presenting evidence? Though, of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with the second disc, that would be another matter. Well, I can't at the moment. And may I remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with McGilded 2 months ago, striking a deal over the disc or discs. Indeed, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. Exactly. I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Though it has holes, I must admit, the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue. The link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus case must be there somewhere. Haven't found it yet. Oh dear. Looks like you need to give your argument more strength, Bruno. You will reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon. If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination.
Hold it!
Now, indeed. Only I can find some evidence to link them. I must have something in my thing already. Give me a second. Let me have a look. See. Anything? Hold on. Here. There we go. Milverton. There we go. So.
Objection!
Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name. Explain yourself, please, counsel. I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim are the man who we now understand have been negotiating with McGilded. Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton. Milverton? Do you mean to say? Oh, saints alive! Mr. Ashley Milverton. Is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? I don't. As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you joined the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it on to McGilded in collaboration with your father. Ah! The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded. Hey, so many M's there. By dint of this music box, you mean, counsel? Yes. Stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to McGilded. Mr. Grayson concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands. And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever. But the deal with McGilded went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, you appeared at Windybanks 2 days ago in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there. But that attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So, that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc. Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box? Yeah? We never knew nothing about that. On the night that Mr. Windybank was killed, The intruder to the pawnbrokery touched one item, and one item alone: the music box. As rather ingeniously demonstrated using the two prints from the security camera, indeed. So, the question that naturally begs answering is this: why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since, if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all of this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Yeah, just going with the strategy of deny everything, huh? Sir? There appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? Ah! 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windybank's pawnbrokery. 1 took the life of the pawnbroker himself. 1 struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes's waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it? Getting him just like Von Karma. Oh, he's got you now, old China. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon. Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Sorry, excuse me. Metal detector. Yeah. Give old Karma the old metal detector treatment. Those were my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly, I was a fool to think I could trust some common backslum thieves. Fine. I admit it. I was there at Windybanks that night. He's doing the evil voice. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I've sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets? Negotiating with Mr. McGilded? As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. He's not going to go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Nonetheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact, which is, well, we know that 1 bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholmes's waist, and the bullet from Mr. Windybank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm. Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself. And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Windybank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder. Goodness! That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Windybank that night is you!
Hold it!
You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here. What? What's this supposed to mean? Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbroker's. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I built for myself at the communication station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. Oh, really? You're going to pull that on us, after proving how unreliable of a person you are? You see, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. Though I am a prime suspect now, I still say the defendant is guilty because I say so. I mean, if you're gonna go the whole, if you're gonna go for the whole 9 yards, you gotta go crazy, right? What? Are you suggesting? I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at that poor, defenseless pawnbroker and shot him. You... what? Order! 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 Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial. Oh. Mr. Graydon. Yes, I trust you are fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as killer. Oh, I understand fully. Santa Claus's theater of law and ruling, where all the rules are made up and nothing is important. That's right, the rules are as made up as Santa Claus himself. Then I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim. Nothing would give me greater pleasure. The moment of the shooting. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Windybank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door, though. The accused, in a black coat, shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood spatter all over that wretched girl. Then, she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. What kind of bullshit story is that? Good gracious, this is quite extraordinary testimony. You claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. Oh no, he knows about the blood spatter. It doesn't come up the right color, though. Order! 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 It wasn't my intention to testify in this way. But neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. So, you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. The truth, until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yes, well, sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker, was then shot in the back by the accused. So what, you're saying that there were 2 bullets in the gun now? And as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood spattered over the accused's coat. Are you sure on that point? Oh, yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat that pickpocket girl was wearing at the time. Yeah, but the blood wasn't on the rest of her clothes, so clearly that should indicate that the blood is old. Even if you're not going to accept our blood identification formula thing. Really? If her coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here. Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. What? Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. So, here's to true science, not some amateurish detectives' dubious foray into the world of chemistry. There's nothing dubious about Hurley's work. His ideas are all sound. Ideas are no use to us here. In science, as in laws, theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. I know, right, Maddie? Need to get that work published in a paper so that other scientists can replicate this and prove that it works as you say it does. Get published, man! Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used. With your lordship's permission, we could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes. This doesn't look good, Bruno. Why not? Well, we know, don't we, that there's blood all over the front of Ginny's coat. If they test it with their chemicals... Oh, hell, you're right. I was forgetting what happened yesterday. Flashback. Don't move, Guinea. I'm going to shoot. Yeah, see, look at it. It's just on the coat. It's not on her underclothes. That's not Windybank's blood. That stain is from 2 months ago. Gonna invent teleportation or some shit at this rate. Knowledge has got to get out there. Seriously. Man, if we had teleportation, that would revolutionize things. That's Mr. Mason's blood. From when he was stabbed by McGilded, who was wearing the coat at the time. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution. Overruled. Lord Van Zeeks, I make it so at once. Engage, Commander. All thrusters online. Shields up, maximum firepower. No shields? Well, buckle up. With pleasure, my lord. And while we await the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Once they find that blood on the overcoat, Gina will be... Counsel? Yes, my lord. Your cross-examination. Of course, my lord. This cross-examination doesn't go well. I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence, or a really compelling clue now. I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. I'm sure it'll be fine. Alright.
Hold it!
Mr. Windybank emerged from the storeroom, I believe. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. Don't have Gina's other clothes presented as evidence that was never subpoenaed. Yep. You should go with all of the clothes. I mean, we don't even have the coat in as evidence. And also, do take into account that Ringo and Nash here, like, they are both contradicting this guy. And, like, Gina's already also told her side of the story to the police, and they sort of, didn't believe her. So that's gotta be, that's like 3 against 1, dude. Come on, man. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've never been so scared in all my life. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're just your regular mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like violence. Says the pair who carry a gun. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1. So, I assumed they could handle the situation. Oh, sorry, excuse me. But I was wrong. I was trying to help your little bruv, but the old geezer chucked me over the bloomin' counter. So I pulled my gun on the old fella, and that soon made him scarper. Pair of you setting upon the poor defenseless pawnbroker together? Shame on you. Oh, sorry, Gov, but he wasn't defenseless, he had a gun. Windybank threw Nash over the counter, sharp pain in the arm. You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes. Though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the three men were brawling. It was at exactly that moment that it happened. So, I didn't hear the gunshot. And the bullet went on to strike the calendar in the wall behind you. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Windybank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well, I guess that sounds like his wound needs stitches if it's still bleeding after 2 days. Well, now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home. Oh, when I pulled the gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way. And then he scarpered through the door, out back. At which point, what did you do? Pursued him, shut himself in, could see him through the peephole, huh? You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom door's a solid job, made of stout wood. Oh, there's a small opening in it, about head high, that lets you see what's what in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night. And what about you burgling brothers? Did you see what went on through this peephole as well? Not likely, Gov. Didn't see nothing of the sort, Gov. I doubt these two buffoons were even aware of this peephole's existence. Gina looks way younger than usual in that shot. It might be the fact that she looks defenseless, I guess. Like, because she's unconscious. So the Skulkin brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Windybank take place. Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there. The defendant? Yes, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at the man. And then, what did you see next? And a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. Hold on a second. Right, yep, she was in fact in the coat. Okay.
Hold it!
Yes. When the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Windybank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. Ah, but no. It wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Windybank's gun grazed my arm, and yes, the Skulkin's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely. A third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon. So, clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time.
Objection.
But no other gun was found at the scene. Calm yourself, counsel. Sorry, you must consider the events in order. At first, I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then, all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. And it was at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back. Because of course there's a place to run in a back room that has no other way in. A chilling image, I must say. All the blood spatter all over that wretched girl. All over her? Yes, through the peephole, I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now, what with the coat being such a dark color. But I assure you, that garment is sullied with the victim's blood. Well, it is sullied with blood, that's for sure. But it's not Mr. Windybank's blood, is it? No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason Milverton's blood from when McGilded stabbed him 2 months ago. So annoying! If they'd only accept Hurley's chemical analysis, we could prove that. But they won't. So unfortunately, we can't use it as evidence to support our case. Oh, bother. And she tossed the gun out of the peephole. I picked it up and made my escape. Because of course she would do that. And I thought there was like glass there or something, so you can't sort of put anything through. Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room? That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Hey, Luxie Kaiser, how are you? Glad you managed to catch me. Hope you're going well. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole onto the floor on my side of the door. But why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. I've been going pretty good. We're on a fun case in Great Ace Attorney, where this guy's lying through his teeth to try and get away with murder and high treason. This guy's a real piece of work right here. And I'm getting my second vaccination tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to being better protected. Okay. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there in case any more tragedies took place. Eminently reasonable, absolutely. I totally understand. Also, you now admit that you are in possession of the murder weapon. So, it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. Yes, it was yours truly. Guilty as charged. Wait, no, not guilty. I'm not guilty. I am innocent. Yeah, I hope it goes well as well. I'm taking a few days off of streaming, just in case. Last time, I think I was mostly fine with my first shot. Mr. Windybank also got his shot, and Sherlock, and Ashley. True, true. Like, I did have muscle pain afterwards, but I think it might have just been the case that it's just because I was out of the house for the first time in a few months, and sort of like walking around and standing up and all that. I think that might have been the real reason for the muscle aches. Possible the vaccine didn't help, but yeah, what are you gonna do? I left the clear up to my lackeys and left. Clear up. All right, let's go have a drink. Let's all stretch, everyone. Okay. There we go. Okay. There we go. Stretch those legs a bit. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. Damn straight. Gotta get that healthy stretch in. Okay. Clear up. Oh, we made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistle and Flute here told us to tidy up. Oh, he thinks he's our bloomin' mum sometimes. Well, I was paying you enough, by God. Honestly, like, considering how good a job these two did at cleaning up, maybe you could open up a cleaning service and go legit. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? He's going to deny that, obviously. You're... Oh! Oh, they're getting into a bit of a scuffle now. We'll do that in a bit. We'll go through first and then press that matter further. Like a bull at a gate, aren't you? But I admit to nothing of the sort. After all, you can't even show the court such a disc exists, can you? I mean, you interrogated Gina about the existence of the about where the second disc was. We can certainly say that, because we're technically witnesses too, you know. As expected, he won't admit to anything unless I can thrust the evidence in his face. It's not as easy as you thought, is it? To pin a crime on this lapel? Haha! It won't stick. Not murder, not treason. Maybe not right now, but you won't be sniggering like that forever. What's your feeling, Bruno? As much as I hate to admit it, I don't see any obvious holes in his testimony at the moment. But you have to find a way to break this man. And quickly too, because once they discover the blood on the overcoat Gina was wearing, it's a bit strange that he's so sure of himself about seeing the blood spatter over Ginny's coat. Doesn't strike me as the sort of thing you'd claim if you hadn't genuinely seen it happen. But we know that Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. But what's going on? All I know is that it's very unfair. Why should some German scientist's test be acceptable as evidence, when mine and Hurley's wasn't? Detectives can use test tubes too? Never mind that. I have to find a really stark inconsistency in this testimony somewhere. I have to find it before the prosecution discovers a bloodstain on Gina's coat. Okay. So, over here. Wrong one.
Hold it!
press this again. Have them all argue. Okay. Yep.
You little toe rag! Excuse me.
Gentlemen! Mental Gen! Something wrong, Sunshine? That should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin? Oh, blimey. Oh, he's a bit of a hooligan, ain't he? What was going on just now? Oh, you saw him? He grabbed me whistle. But why the blazes, he said? Didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down the station? And why didn't you? 'Cause we didn't know nothing about it. All that flaming peephole in the door. Sorry about that. I can be prone to losing my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you? Oh, blimey. The way he's looking at me. I'm telling you, this D gives me the willies. Don't want to mess with old Sulky there. That was strange. Spectre doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone. No, that wasn't like Gregsy at all. It's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him. Yes, well, I think you might be a special case, Iris. Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character. My lord! Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt this cross-examination. Cop goes wild. I mean, that's just cops in general, right? Explain yourself, officer. I have the results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord. Test Gina's other clothes too, please. Ah, the blood. The delicious nectar of life on the accused's overcoat. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. Oh. I presume you have no objection, counsel? No, my lord. Except that I do request that you test Gina's other clothes. Please. This is important. Well, there you have it. The report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report. That was from a stabbing. The idea is that the coat still has fairly dense bloodstains on it, whereas the other clothes don't have any. I mean, you'd be able to tell the age of it as well, right? I don't know if they're that advanced, admittedly. But you'd be able to. She could pass up as her cleaning her other coat while she missed the. Not really. I mean, she was thrown in prison immediately after, right? And how would you sort of miss the bloodstains on the on one and not the other? Yeah. Goodness me. See? What did I tell you?
Protection.
No, the blood on that coat is not Mr. Windybanks. With the depending on how it shows the blood, At the very least, you'd be able to sort of like show that the blood pattern stain doesn't fit. Because we sort of like saw how it looked. I can just sort of like combine them together and you'd see that there's no way that they sort of like match. What on earth makes you say that, Counsel? The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at Windybanks, McGilded had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. So the blood on that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case.
Objection!
Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, my Nipponese friend? Sorry? We technically could have just had a look at her at the time and be able to see what sort of blood spatter is there. Because it would certainly show up on her other clothes, that's for sure. 2 months ago, in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGilded's innocence? And yet, now that the man is dead, you brand him a murderer. Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. But that was... I call it a bloody disgrace. Treachery, that's what it is. How to determine whether the blood on that coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help the answer to that problem pop out. It can't be done. But... we used Mr. Sholmes' specially formulated technique. Well, Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist. Would you put such faith in the chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer? I held out pirojki to starving boy, and he ran away crying. Sherlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all. How could you say that? Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish. How do you arrive at such a conclusion, sir? As the witness said, the accused's coat was spattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Grayston could possibly have known that fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. Gonna have another summation examination? Oh, yep. I think we're gonna have another summation examination. My lord, been a long battle this one, but this old warhorse has something to say now, if you please. Mr. Foreman, as of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for one now. Sir!
Guilty.
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 Love how the surgeon bonks his head. Well, it would appear the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. I mean, just how unreliable has this guy been? Let's be real. Here's to any attempt you may make at unpicking the jeweler's decisions being equally successful. Ah! Actual sip from the glass. I don't believe it, after I've come so far. How is it all unraveling on me so fast? How very distressing to be held in such low esteem. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruto? Officer? You've delivered the report now. That will be all, thank you. It occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Naruto, that scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. Is Sholmes dressed up as the police officer now? I know that voice. Am I going mad? Ah! Mr. Sholmes! What is the meaning of this? Order! 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 What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard, you were recuperating in the hospital. As well I would be, had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Hurley! It's really you! You're awake at last! Yes, good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humour me. In what manner, sir? I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us the time? What say you to this, Lord Van Zieks? Again, what happened to Discovery? This trial has taken many hours of the court's time. Having spent so long already. Exactly! Having spent so long already, we don't want to go wasting any more precious time. As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes! Ah! Very well then, counsel. You have 5 minutes. My dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival. Mr. Sholmes, are you all right now? All right. I'm all wrong. Heh? I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive me should I pass out. Let's make this discussion as short as possible and maybe less gesticulating unless you wear yourself out. Hurley, this place is full of idiots. None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is. Ah, well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of sport to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community. An oversight on my part. Right. Modesty? Surely not. But enough of that. I'm here to give you this, my dear fellow. What's that? A lavender furoshiki wrapping. A leaving present. From Miss Susato. From Miss Susato? If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor. He doesn't seem to have any money troubles, admittedly. Even if he did sort of like pawn a few items here and there. He's able to go about buying up every single music box in the world, after all. I don't understand. Miss Susato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhand. And that you, Mr. Naruhodo, fighting fairly as you are wont to do, would find yourself in considerable peril. At that very moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Ah, fair enough, Maddie. My mistake. But Sholmes is a man who has high intelligence, low wisdom. Even though wisdom is tied, in D&D terms, is tied to perception. Those were the dear lady's instructions. A leaving present from Susato-san. Whatever could it be? Really low magic defense. What is this? Oh! It's the machine I made! The whole making machine? Ah! Sherlock would be... makes sense. Wakahai, kitty! Good. I use this. It's my latest invention. What is that? I call it the cat flappomat. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. What's Susie up to? Miss Susato muttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant. So she used that device in order to find this and saw everything herself? Maybe? What? Didn't she say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Whatever did she mean by that, Mr. Sholmes? That night, when you left Windybanks in pursuit of the thieves, Miss Susato made use of this contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, dear fellow. Gotta do the thing where you repeat the last syllable over and over. I'm a failure. Like that, yeah. Not at all cryptic, then. Susato-san used this cat flappomat that night. But why? Rapid creation of small flaps and larger doors to allow cats to come and go freely. Your 5 minutes are over. Let's have a quick look at this. Oh, those vicious teeth. Look like they could rip almost anything. Oh, they're good, aren't they? They're made of a special alloy I developed just for this job. The cutter rotates 10 times per second, so it can get through any kind of door in no time at all. And what are the 2 parts at the top here? Ah, those are for attaching hinges to the section of door that gets cut out. Right, of course. Yep, these are Holmes and Iris here are very fond of making inventions for very niche uses. Nothing can match this machine for power. It can make mincemeat of even the toughest of doors. What if I were to, say, put this on a person? Sounds so charming and friendly when you say what it's for, but feels like the reality of the cat flapper mat is that's a grim weapon of door destruction. Oh, Wagahai is so adorable. There's nothing I wouldn't do for him, even developing deadly weapons. So we don't have to look at anything else for this, do we? Alright. Out of time already? I'm grateful to you for affording us that brief recess, Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast. Is it really? The jewelers are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. Yeah, you said that the other 2 times, didn't you? I wonder, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me? I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests... Wait, really? The defense requests time to think. I request a brief recess. So good, I need time to think. What do you think you're doing, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? What of Miss Susato's gracious gesture? Would you let this final piece of evidence she let you go to waste? Final piece of... This is not a time for inaction. This is a time to hear from a witness. But it's not possible for me to bring a new witness to the stand at this point. I don't think that's what Hurley means, Bruno. Have you forgotten where we are in the trial? Aha! If the defense has nothing more to add, I think we should proceed to the adjudication. Wait, my lord. The defense requests further cross-examination. The jewelers have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now. The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness, rather to continue with one of an existing witness. What? It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. My lord, requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel? No, my lord. So nobody can say anything then? If Rudo asks to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon, the court is obliged to allow it. This is absurd! I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request the continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity, including the cross-examination. Counsel, you must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony and but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it. A single chance to present evidence? If, following that, the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further. My lord. Yes, my lord. A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's high time I fell in a dead faint. I leave this in your capable hands. Dramatic even in fainting. Mr. Sholmes! Went down with grace. To stand so succinctly before the court in a state of such high fever. Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind, or an extraordinary lack of feeling. I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. People who have sort of finished this before, like normally I'd sort of be getting close to wrapping up the stream right now. How much more of the case do you estimate there to be? Just so I can sort of make a proper judgment on what to do. Strike a man when he's down, why don't you? Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared? Yes. One statement, one piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down. Or Iris. And I won't waste this final chance that Susato-san has given me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of the trial. Very well then. Under the terms I have outlined, you may resume the cross-examination. Oh. Moment of the shooting again. I might... Considering I've got my vaccination tomorrow, I think it might be for the best to save here. Like, I know we're really close to the end, but 15 to 25 minutes. All right, well that's a more concrete number there. All right. If it's only that long, I'll do it. The moment of the shooting again. Ah. It's even given us a dramatic music now, so we know that it's the coming up on the end. Okay, when these ruffians were jostling with the broker, still near the entrance to the shop, Windy Bank threw Nash over the counter, stab in my arm, and see through the peephole in the door. I saw blood spatter all over that wretched girl. I picked it up and made my escape. His lordship is only going to allow me to present one piece of evidence here. It's clear what that piece of evidence should be. How in the world did Susie manage to sneak off with this without me noticing? And she used it in the pawnbrokery? Yes, at least that's what Mr. Sholmes said. I've only gone from the place for about 5 minutes, but I went after the Skulkin brothers. What possible reason could Zato-san have had to use Iris's contraption in that time? Could it be that what she did with the cat Flapomat completely changes one of the key premises this testimony is based on? Peephole in the door, perhaps. And in the back, all blood spatter all over. Tossed the gun out of the peephole. I picked it up and made my escape. God damn. Small flaps in larger doors. Blood spatter all over that wretched girl. Used in a black coat. Shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. Sharp pain in arm. What if he wasn't shot? And that cat Flap-O-Mat did it. Although there would be blood on it then. There would be blood on it. We didn't see any blood on it. Although... where else would she have had the chance to use it, right? It's gotta be that then.
Objection.
Oh crap, it's not. No, damning statement. Nope. Look at you, counsel. I see your trembling hand, perspiring brow. It's for making peepholes, I guess. So, I was just wondering what she was there for. So it's got to be the peephole bit then. One of them. So... which one there then?
Objection.
There we go. What on earth is that eccentric contraption, Counsel? Oh, it's my cat flapper mat, my lord. Makes a way for cats to get in and out of a room. I can cut through any door you can think of and make a new little door in the middle of it. Okay, so I was just overthinking it for a minute. That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please, without their owners having to open the main door. Yeah, any door. So it could have been several different doors, I guess. I'm sure we could all work that out for ourselves. But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to this case. Oh, really? Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door. Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I fail to see what this has to do with the matter at hand. Perhaps it would help if I described its function another way then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine in practically no time at all. I beg your pardon? A peephole, you say? 2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Mr. Windybank had taken place. That's right. According to the paperwork at the yard, it was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes. Yes, the 3 of us were together, and it's recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time. Your assistant did what? There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much in my testimony. I guess it just means when she used it, I guess. Because it's saying that she used it there and then? How else would I have witnessed the crime, for pity's sake? Yes. How could you? What? Counsel? Kindly say what you mean. Alright, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door, and until such time as she did, the door had no hole in it to look through. Yeah. I get this. What? No!
Objection!
This is a farce. Are you really suggesting that the peephole in the door was... Yes, it was created only after the incident had taken place, by my judicial assistant using this device. Your assistant tampered with the crime scene, whilst being fully aware of the gravity of her actions? That is a most serious act of vandalism, for which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in the few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Nonetheless, in the light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes. Okay, so there was no peephole, so he's lying about having seen everything. Okay. She was there at the time. Okay, so he had the thing with her. Okay. Riddled with... Explain yourself, counsel. The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon what he witnessed through the peephole in the storeroom door. Yes, that filthy girl shooting the man in the back. However, if at the time of the incident that peephole did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. Yeah, tossed it through the hole. In short, in that case, when did he find out about the peephole? Your entire testimony is a pack of lies. Order! 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 Is there any credence in this revelation?
Objection!
None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. And yeah, we can't really see the peephole here. Aha! Aha! There we go! God, I didn't notice that! Whew. Exactly! This is just some cheap trick designed to discredit me. I am afraid not, sir. Of course it is! Do you seriously expect people to believe that plaything can cut through a solid wooden door? That was... mwah, very well done. Oh yes! I designed it to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest of doors. That's absurd! I don't believe it for a second. I had a feeling you'd say that. What? Waggy? Cooey? Time for dinner! Kitty! Well? Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cat flaps in the oak paneling at the Old Bailey. I'm not done yet. Don't worry. This doesn't mean that the peephole in the storeroom door at the Windybanks was made by your machine. Cats can go where they please. And there's no way you can prove that it was. No, but it's easy. What? Cat flaps my cat flap-o-matic creates are all of a fixed size. And the dimensions of the peephole at Windybanks are an exact match. Old Silky's lost for words. Excellent work, Iris, thank you. And now, it's my learned student friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home. Well, yes, that's true. Then, you may have some difficulty in establishing all the facts. for the sake of argument, let us assume the people has dimensions that are a perfect fit for this contraption. In that case, then was the peephole cut. The prosecution demands proof of your answer. Ah, it's in the photos. What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Zieks? It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device. But now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the fact. There is no proof. And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the peephole was made, my learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation. What? Indeed, that is so, Lord Van Zieks. Well, counsel, don't give up now, Bruno. This is the time to create your own opening and force your way through. Don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Zato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world. Very well. A counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the peephole in the door of Windybank's storeroom was created after the incident and not before.
Take that!
What are you? A print from that detective's infernal cameras again? My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikotoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof. And the necessary proof is this photographic print, counsel. This print shows a scene in the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises. Agreed. And it also shows the accused mercilessly wielding a gun in the direction of the defenseless broker. But more to the point, it pictures the storeroom door in the background. Let me see that print again. I don't believe it. This really is quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of a peephole of any description. Mr. Graydon, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no peephole in the door. In other words, your testimony is a catalogue of lies. He said catalogue. Cat. Maddie. You should have calculated this, Maddie. Order! I am satisfied that the defense has substantiated its claim beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness's testimony was entirely fallacious. That's not the only thing we now know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. The woman tampered with a crime scene. But, more importantly, Good lord, there's more Lord Van Zeeks. The defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury, but that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. Yes, that's right. What? I was there at the scene, it's true. And I was shot in the arm, it's true. But that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here. Oh, please, no! I don't believe this. They're right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he is the culprit. Still, he can't work his way out of it now. Iris? You know what they say? There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted. Isn't that right, Bruno? As Hurley always says, one lie begets another. No, wait. That might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories. Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there is a fundamental inconsistency in your statements. What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency. Iris was right. One lie begets another. Inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about. Namely, the bloodstains on the coat. Okay. You know what? Like, if this is going to take 4 times what was quoted, we will actually wrap this up here for now. I'm really sorry about this. I didn't want to, but if time calculations were not sort of done properly, then we'd best pause here for now. But don't worry, we'll be returning to this on Monday. And chances are we'll be going straight into Great Ace Attorney Chronicles 2. Yeah, it is rather late, and I've got a vaccination to go to tomorrow. So we'll exit the game here, I think. And I'd like to thank everyone, as per usual, for coming by. It's more fun playing these with people, I think. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. And I'm looking forward to wrapping up this case and going on to the second game, which is possibly even better. So, as I sort of said, no stream tomorrow, no stream on the weekend. I'll see if I can... I'll ask Marshall if we might be able to do some more Resident Evil next week. For the Saturday, but it depends on his schedule, obviously. We are going to go raid Commissar Bear, who is apparently playing Discworld, which is a fun adventure, like point-and-click game. And I've played a little bit of it, and it's very sort of true to the novels and stuff. And it's and if I'm remembering right, you play as Rincewind in that, and Rincewind is voiced by Eric Idle. aka one of the Monty Python crew. So it's a really hilarious adventure game there. If complicated, it's one of those old style ones where it's hard to sort of know where you're sort of going. So yeah, we'll pop in there and go say hello to Bear, okay? So, thank you very much, and I hope to see you all next time, alright? See ya!